Hey, what's going on, YouTube? It's Alex here with the Flunky Entrepreneur's Field Guide. And today's topic is about intuitive success. How do we determine what is going to be successful and what isn't going to be successful? Now, again, it's intuition. No matter whether you're looking at it in the beginning, post result, or pre result, it's intuition. It's the feeling you get, right? It's that emotion that ties you to the experience of what it is that we've achieved, right? And versus the time and the energy versus spent versus geez, let me go back on that. The time and energy we spent versus, the result that we get, it really matters to our intuition. It really, our intuition is that feeling we get, that gut feeling, whether or not what we did was good or not. Have you ever had that feeling going into something that was going to be super exciting, right? You're so eager, you're so energetic, you're supercharging, like, oh my gosh, I feel like a superhero right now, and you do it, and then you find out, oh, this is not what I thought. I thought that I thought it was going to be less energy, or I thought it was I thought, like, maybe I overshot, or maybe I didn't step up to the plate. Maybe I swung and I miss, or perhaps you hit a home run and you felt great, and then next thing you know, the home run was out of bounds, right? And or is a foul ball. And what do you do with that, right? How do you take that into consideration when in the beginning you were so excited, right? You're ready for the game. You step up to the plate, you have bases loaded, and here you go for a grand slam, and there it goes, and it's going. Oh, it's foul, right? And now you stepped up with a full count. And now you have to determine whether or not the next swing is going to be whether or not it's going to be a strike, or whether or not it's going to be a base hit. But you already have that feeling like, oh man, that was supposed to be a grand slam. That was my victory charge. That was my limelight. That was where I was supposed to be, but it didn't work out, right? Do you own that? Do you own that experience that you didn't really truly fulfill? Like, you didn't really come through. You didn't execute, should I say? You didn't execute on that experience, right? It becomes an empty success. So don't you feel a little dismayed? Like, maybe, what if you step up to the plate, now it's full count, bases loaded, and you swing and strike out, and there goes the game. So there are a lot of factors that go into intuitive success that a lot of people don't understand. And don't be disappointed. This is the problem that a lot of people have when they feel like they're failing. It might feel like a failure when you're up at bat, bases loaded, it's a full count. You just swung off, almost hit a home run, went foul ball. But now you're faced with the full count, bases loaded in your team. This is your last up at bat. This is the last up at bat, right? And the other team is winning by 1 point. The other team is winning by 3 points. It doesn't matter. The other team is winning within reach. That victory is within reach. But all you need to do is get another home run, right? Or perhaps all you need is a base hit. And you're stricken with the dilemma now. And you don't want to swing. You get nervous. The pitch is going to come whether you want it to or not. And your job is to execute. Your job is to have planned that in your head, because that's what this is about. This is what intuition is about, and this is why I'm telling you, and this is why I'm feeding you the visuals right now. You're up at bat and it's your turn to swing. What are you going to do about it? And you have to really understand that you need to execute on that plan that you developed in your brain, because you knew you're going to be up at bat. You knew that you were going to be clenching that bat tightly in your grip, right? And you knew that this pitcher was going to be pitching you something. He's going to be pitching you, right? You know what your weakness is. You plan for it. You plan for that weakness. If your weakness is the curveball, you should have been practicing the curveball, right? You should have been executing that. You should have put your mind to that. You should have put your heart. You should have put your passion. You should have put everything that you had into that, because that's all we get is that one moment. All we get is that one moment. And it's not for everybody else. It's that one moment to build confidence for ourselves. And that is what drives our success, right? But we have to reach within ourselves. We have to find it within ourselves, that whether or not we execute according to somebody else's plans or not, that we still executed and we learned and we grew and we built something, right? We establish something within ourselves that the next time we know that we're going to be prepared for it. We don't want to set ourselves up for failure, step up to the plate, and then be stricken with the grief every time. Every time we see a picture, every time we see that scenario come up again, we don't know how to cope and deal, right? And your intuition is stricken. Your intuition is compromised, and you don't know how to operate properly because you didn't properly, execute the last time. Now, when I say execution, you have to understand you have to do things from the bottom of your heart. You have to do things with your intuition, do things with the feelings, your senses, making sure that you feel like a complete person when you're up at bat because there's going to be a pitch coming your way and you need to prepare yourself for it. You have to be ready for when that pitch comes, regardless of the speed, regardless of the whether it's the the form of velocity or whether it's the trajectory, whatever, or the spiral or whatever it is, whatever pitch is coming your way, be prepared because you are always up at bat. You are always up at bat, and we're not always going to have the opportunity for a grand slam, right? We won't. And that's reality. But a lot of us get into this game of entrepreneurship thinking that we have grand slams. We have products or services that are going to knock it out of the park. And trust me, I've been there and I've done that. I failed a good amount of times. Enough for me to tell you, listen, I get it. I get being up at bat. You want to make the best of what you got. But the reality is, we have to feel it intuitively. We have to express ourselves intuitively because if we don't, then we're not going with who we are. We're going with what we are expected to do, right? And if you're up at bat and you have a coach behind you saying you better knock it out the park, that's extra pressure. That's not for your intuition. That extra pressure is for them. They're feeling the pressure, right? But it's not for you. Your coach might be feeling the pressure because the management might be making them feel a certain way, or the team owner is making the management feel a certain way. So therefore, they're going to put it on the coach, and the coach is going to put it on you, and that's the trickle effect. That's what it's like being in the corporate world. That's the pressure we feel every day when we have to sell and market every single day. In order to make this environment, this economic environment go round, we have to sell. We have to sell every day, right? And the question is, what skills do you want to have in selling? Do you want to walk away from a deal knowing that you feel good about it, knowing that you did what you knew how to do and you executed the way you felt good about executing? You didn't execute based off of somebody else's expectations and opinions. You did it because you knew that they had belief in you, right? And you have to have that belief in yourself first. This is why people who do achieve intuitive success, they are the most confident people in the world because it doesn't matter if they fail because they know that that's all they had at that point in time. And they'll learn that next time the opportunity comes, they still feel good enough that they can face it. They can still step up to the plate and be like, you know what? Okay, that was a mistake last time, but this time I've worked on that curveball, right? This time I know that I'm going to knock it out the park, and have that feeling deep seated, deep rooted within their being, within their psyche, within their psyche, within their heart, within their blood, within every muscle fiber that's in their body. They believe in their success because they've already thought of it. They've already considered. And the intuition is when you're up at bat, is what that gut feeling tells you. Listen, we're going to swing with all our heart on this swing, or we're going to bunt on this swing, or we're going to let that ball slide right past us and take the ball, or maybe we need to take a strike sometimes just to give somebody a little bit overconfidence, just to give the pitcher some overconfidence, so that way they let up on the next one, or perhaps they might throw that same pitch, and that same pitch is your pitch, and you're gonna knock it out the park, right? So that's how you build intuitive success. So let's start there, okay? That was a little opener and a little taste of that in-depth feeling that we can really experience when we start seeing things in an intuitive way, right? And become enlightened. And let's do it together. I'm Alex with eFlunky. This is your Entrepreneur's Field Guide, and welcome to the eFlunky Show. Later, people.